Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over what you guys should be doing if your goal is to maximize muscle growth, because let's be honest, who doesn't want to have big muscles if we're training in the gym? Yeah, we all want to be strong, but I think looking jacked, for me anyway, looking jacked is better than actually being strong. So I'm going to be going over that today, and hopefully you guys can learn a thing or two from this. Okay, first thing on the agenda when we're trying to grow muscle is we need a stimulus for our muscles to grow, that is lifting weights and working out. And how do we do that? We need to push our sets hard. Now, if you are a beginner, you don't have to go to failure and whatnot, because any sort of exercise is going to be harder than doing nothing. But if you are an intermediate or advanced lifter and you're hitting a plateau, it's probably because you're not pushing your sets hard enough. If you just keep doing the same weights for the same amount of reps every time, your muscles have no real reason to get bigger or stronger. So we need to put them in that zone where they're like, hey, wait a minute, I need to get stronger because you're doing this every single day and we're failing, so we need to get bigger and stronger. I cannot express that enough. You need to push your sets hard. The next thing is we need to make sure we put the muscle into a very deep and great stretch. And what is the stretch? Well, that is, for example, if we're doing bicep curls, we want the bicep to be very stretched. So like this, my bicep is in a stretch position, whereas this is the contracted position. And because we know from research, stretch position much more conducive to hypertrophy than the contracted position. So when we're doing exercises, we want to pick exercises that will give us the greatest stretch on the muscle. So for example, if we're doing dumbbell curls, that's a good exercise, but if we want to maximize our bicep growth, we should probably opt to do them on the cable machine and set the cable higher so we can get more tension in that stretch position. Not saying that regular bicep curls won't grow your biceps. Clearly they will, but if we're trying to optimize things here, we should pick exercises that favor that stretch position rather than ones that favor the contraction. Okay, and this one is also very important. That is eccentric control. You need to put your freaking egos at the door, guys. Come on. If you're training for bodybuilding, no, I promise you, literally nobody gives a shit how much your weight you're lifting. It's as simple as that. No, literally nobody could care less. The girls at the gym couldn't care. You know what? You may get a couple compliments from your bros, but if you're doing it for the girls to say, oh, I want to I can bench 315, and your form looks like dog shit, and then you get injured, it's just don't ego lift. You want to really milk that eccentric, because the eccentric is probably more important than the concentric, and the eccentric is, just for example, if we're doing a bench press, the downward portion, and the concentric is when we push up. So really control that eccentric. You want it to feel like the muscle is, like on the bench press, for example, that your chest is literally tearing apart as you lower that weight. Now, it doesn't have to be super slow, but you definitely need to control it. You don't want to just drop the weight or whatever, because that's really dangerous. That's how injuries occur, and it's just not optimal for muscle growth. And you know, if you get injured, you can't be training, you can't be growing muscle. So don't ego lift. Make sure to control the negative. And it doesn't have to be a crazy, like a 10-second negative. It can if you want, but I know Jeff Nippard was a part of a study where he showed that reps between 2 and 8 seconds were optimal, and anything above or below that, not so optimal. So let's say you were doing a set on the bench press. You would want, for just as an example, for the concentric, you go 1 second up and then 2 seconds down, 1 second up, 2 seconds down. I think that is a great way of doing it. Obviously, you can do a little bit more, but that is what I would recommend for most lifts. And what about programming? So the research shows that we want to be training each body part twice per week. I know back in the day, a lot of pro bodybuilders, they were doing these bro splits where they would train one day chest, next day back, an arm day, a leg day, an ab, a shoulder day. But we know from research that muscles, like let's say you do Monday chest day. You really think your chest needs 7 days to recover? How many freaking sets are you doing for your chest on one day? It's better, like it's not as good to do, let's say, 20 sets for your chest on one day. It would be much better to split that up across 2 separate days. The research supports this, so make sure you're hitting each muscle twice per week. So if let's say you work out only 2 times per week, then you'd probably want to do a full body day and a full body day. If you're working out 4 times per week, maybe you'll do an upper, lower. And if you're doing 6 times, you can do push, pull legs. Just make sure you're hitting every muscle in your body twice per week to optimize those gains. And this last thing I'm going to talk about, it doesn't really have to do with training, but it is your freaking diet. Many people, they're like, they want to out-train a bad diet, this and that. But guys, the diet is like 50% of the equation, probably more than the actual weightlifting. You got to get your micronutrients, you got to get your healthy fats, and you got to get your protein in, okay? If you don't have the right micronutrients, you don't have your healthy fats, and you don't have your protein, your body simply can't optimally build muscle. If you didn't know, if you're lacking in healthy fats, your testosterone can actually go down, and that is definitely not optimal for muscle growth. We want our testosterone to be in that reference range. We don't want it to be below or above. So make sure you're getting in all the nutrients you need. And I just want to say, if you are vegan, you can still get the protein in that you need. I know a lot of people are like, oh, chicken breast has like the rating system on how they rate protein. Chicken breast or basically animal products, animal protein is rated higher. Their amino acid profile is better than plant options. And while yes, that is true, you can still get in enough protein as a vegan. You just need to be getting your protein in from a variety of sources, and you'd probably need a little bit more. I would say most people, if you're eating meat and like eggs and animal products, you can probably get away with eating 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, and that's probably optimal. But if you're vegan, you might want to be getting closer to that 1 gram protein per pound of body weight. For me, I just get 1 gram protein per pound of body weight because it's just easy for me to remember, but that's what I would say to that. And that about wraps it up, guys. So make sure you are doing all these things if you want to maximize your muscle building potential. There are a couple things I didn't really mention, but I'm just thinking of it. Sleep. Make sure you're getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, because sleep is when you're recovering. So make sure to do that. Make sure to stay hydrated, all that jazz. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.